from your brain. So that means later on, very soon, when I talk about the menopause, you will even know about that. Don't be too skinny. If you purposely want to be very, very skinny, it will affect a lot of things. You'll find that girls with some fat is good. Okay, it is important. Of course, again, it doesn't mean that you should start some uncontrolled diet from now on. But you should know that you don't be too skinny. Okay. Yes, menopause. So just like what I've told you, a female for her whole life, the reproductive life, she only have 400 oocytes. Okay, around 400. Some may have a little bit more. That means before or at around age 50, all the oocytes will be released, and then they will not have menstruation anymore, and do not have ovulation at all. So for these women, we say that they are the post-menopause women. The ovaries will be depleted of follicles because no oocytes to be developed further. Therefore, no secretion of estrogen from ovaries. Also, no secretion of inhibin. So this ovary should be here. Okay, so no estrogen, no inhibin being produced from ovaries. Therefore, if you still remember, the inhibin and the estrogen is actually an inhibitor of FSH and LH. So therefore, and what we can observe here is FSH and LH secretion will be increased because no inhibitory effect here, but not to be very high level, okay, just more than normal. The only estrogen found in blood is estrone, a kind of a weak estrogen form and then formed by the cells in adipose tissue. So in another word, for the menopause women, the estrogen they have now is the estrone, and estrone is made from adipose tissue, the fat tissues. Okay? In this case, these women, if they have more adipose tissue, will have higher level of estrogen. This is a good thing because there will be less tendency to develop osteoporosis. Okay? So we can see the importance of having some fat in your body for women. Even though when you getting older, you will find metabolism going down, or you will not feel that now because you are still very, very young. But then for the menopause women, some of them will just try their best to be very, very thin. That is not good. Okay, some fat help them to have estrogen level, keep on a better level, and then it can prevent the osteoporosis, which is important. Okay, especially for those women who have already given birth to babies, more easy to develop the osteoporosis because during the pregnancy, a lot of the calcium and the phosphorus have been absorbed by the baby during the development. So somehow it is highly related. Okay, so the symptoms of the menopause, like the vasomotor disturbance, talking about the hot flashes of the women, and then the atrophy of the urogenital site, increased risk of some cardiovascular disease, and increased progression of the osteoporosis. So fertilization. So for the fertilization, the male ejaculates around 300 million sperm into vagina during the sexual intercourse. About 10% of it can pass through the female reproductive tract and gain the ability to fertilize an egg. We say that this ability to get through the female reproductive tract is capacitation. Okay, that's talking about ability. And then only 100 sperms survive to enter fallopian tube, that is the oviduct. So you can see that the chance of fertilization is not high at all, very low. A woman usually, even though I say very low, but there is still chance. Okay, so you're already grown up and you're not yet adult, right? After you have become an adult and in the future, even though I told you only 100 sperms is going to get to the oviduct, it doesn't mean that you don't need to do any safety measures. Okay, during the sexual intercourse. So anyway, so women usually ovulate only one ovum per month, of course, and then they have less than 450 ova in the reproductive years. So what does it mean by the capacitation? Meaning that the sperm have to present in the female reproductive tract for at least 7 hours. Less than this 7 hours, probably the fertilization cannot be done easily. Secondly, during the time, pH of the sperm cytoplasm will be increased because they are swimming in the female reproductive tract from pH 4 to 7. That means from the vagina to the oviduct. Okay, so this is the change of pH. So they gain increasing pH of the sperm cytoplasm by extrusion of the hydrogen as well. And calcium channels unique to the sperm located in sperm's principal peas are opened by the alkalization. So during the time, allowing the entry of calcium ions. So this entry of calcium ions into the sperm is just making the sperm more active. So how to be more active? That means the flagella of the sperm will gain the hyperactivation. And then why the flagella has to be like this? Because otherwise they cannot swim. They cannot swim and reach to the oviduct easily. Okay, so this is for reaching the location of the fertilization. Oviduct penetrate the egg coats. Okay. So the capacitated sperm, guided by the chemotaxis, the change of the pH, the chemicals along the way. Thermotaxis, talking about the temperature. When it is getting warmer, getting into the uterus, and then finally getting into the oviduct, the temperature was just go up a little bit, right? Warmer. So therefore, they know that, oh, we just need to go to the warmer place. So how the sperm digest the coating of the egg and then get into the egg, that we have already learned last year. That means in semester 1. So you can see in the outermost layer, they are the cells of the corona radiator. Okay, and then just below the corona radiator, this is a gel-like substances called the zona pellucida. When the sperm get onto the surface of the egg, they have the acrosome containing the enzymes inside, so they can digest the corona radiator. And later on, they can even digest the zona pellucida, and that's why they can get into the egg. So only the head of the sperm will get into the egg, and it containing the nucleus. Another calcium event happening that is not talking about the sperms now. It's talking about the oocyte. Inside the oocyte, when fertilization happens, endoplasmic reticulum that's storing the calcium ions will just be stimulated and release the calcium. Rise in the cytoplasmic calcium spreads from one point of the sperm entry. That means, let's say the egg is very, very big, you can imagine. So this is the fertilization started, and then this is talking about from the sperm entry to opposite pole of the oocyte to form the calcium wave. Okay, so it takes around 2 seconds to spread and activates the fertilized egg cell. The purpose is to prevent other sperm from fertilizing the same oocyte. They don't want the second sperm to get inside. So the calcium wave is helping with preventing this thing. Also activates the proteins, allow the arrested cell cycle to continue. So this is talking about the secondary oocyte. So the ovum is still, the oocyte is still secondary oocyte, which haven't finished the meiosis 2. They have been arrested at metaphase 2. So therefore, some proteins will be activated at this point and to let it continue to finish the meiosis 2. Okay. So, but for some couples, they may not be able to fertilize by themselves. So again, I've told you the number of the sperm to get into the oviduct is really low. And then it is talking about when you have 300 million sperms at the starting point, and then how at the end only 100 left. What if the sperm number is lower? What if the sperms, most of them, are not in an intact situation or not healthy at all? Then this 100 or even smaller number to get into the oviduct can be even smaller. So the chance is talking about the chance. So some couples, they think that I would like to still have the baby. So they would go for in vitro fertilization, IVF. In vitro means we do it in the lab, we do it in the test tube, okay? So of course, we're not really do it in the test tube. And then in vivo means in the living thing, okay? In vitro in a glass. So the egg fertilized by the sperm outside the body, and then just select. So what do they need to do is to ask the women to produce more eggs during the ovulation. They have to get some injection of the hormones. So when they need to go for the treatment, the IVF, they have to inject the